David always used to complain being on the right side because he used to have the logo in his head, and I decided to take the logo in my head today. You know, when we talk about money, and we do a lot, right? Talk about finance, we talk about people spending money, we talk about causes and people that are financing causes. But we don't, maybe once every, 2 years, sort of get on the topic of how our government spends money. And why is that so important? Well, if you haven't heard it, the Democrats walked out. You know, the Democrats have failed to understand and try and placate the American people. Not that the Republicans haven't done this in the past, because they've done it as well. You know, they walk out of government because they're little children and can't seem to get things right. It used to be the Republicans wanted to spend on defense, and the Democrats wanted to spend on, measures that were not very, quote, American, very socialist. Anyways, everybody, my name's Stuart Brisgell. That's our co-host, David Solomon. Well, I'm the co-host. Don't really know anymore. This is your go-to podcast for unfiltered, unapologetic discussions, hosted and always here, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. We tackle a diverse range of topics with candid conversations, bold opinions, whether we're breaking down the latest headlines or delving into the complexities of modern life. We have a perspective to give you and discuss with you. So grab a seat, settle in, and join in for another thought-provoking conversation. You know, David, the Democrats voted down the Republic funding bill because they demanded inclusion of Obamacare, health provisions like Affordable Care Act, right? Because the bill failed to get 60 votes, which is required. So the Republicans couldn't pass it even if they all said yes. The Democrats argue that the GOP proposal was unacceptable without the health care fixes, so they preferred to reject it versus try and get to a resolution. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, right? Because the main part of the Healthcare Act that they're trying to strip out is those for non-resident, non-legal aliens, which is a big point for the American people. I believe the last Pew report has that 69% of Americans agree with the current administration on deportation and American citizenship. I don't know. I'm willing to bet you that more Americans are wanting their dollars to be spent on themselves than on others, or not even wanting to pay it at all. And the Democrats walk out screaming bloody murder. Yeah, it's kind of funny because not more than 2 years ago, they were saying how the Republicans are walking out and how they should never walk out, and how I literally thought I was on Groundhog Day. David, we talked about Groundhog Day. We talked about hamster in the wheel, and it's like over and over and over and over and over again. We seem to be going over and over the same issues, except it's like flip-flop. Like, as you said in the green room, little Chucky can't really come up with a new idea. You know, it's like Pocahontas, right? It's like AOC. You know, these people regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again. And, I hate to say this, but, there used to be a lot of smart people that were Democrats. I don't know how someone smart could actually get behind any of their demagoguery. David?
Well, Stuart, it's back to the same old stories. We're sitting here on a beautiful Wednesday. It's sunny, it's fall. The leaves are changing here in the Northeast. It's gorgeous. We should be enjoying and really taking it in. And if you live in Vermont or up in the Adirondacks or somewhere, you should be enjoying it. Instead, if you're a federal worker, if you're part of the military, if you are anything to do a contractor with the government, you're worried again because you don't know how much longer it's going to be before you get a paycheck, get paid, services, you name it. And it's a typical thing that this is what governments have gone to do. That imagine a government is shut down for days, weeks on end. And the amazing thing is the finger pointing, Stuart, as you clearly pointed out, is that the Dems, of course, are pointing always when everything is wrong, it's Trump's fault. Stuart, what's sad is that the Democrats don't look in the mirror. What they do is they like to it's if you remember the old fairy tale, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And Chuck Schumer keeps hearing, you are, Chuck. You're the fairest of them all. No, you're the most screwed up of them all because you continue to cheat, you continue to flip flop. There are enough recordings of you yelling and screaming at Republicans that they're hurting everyday middle class folks, lower class, the working class. Your comment is if you don't give me what I want, I shut down the government. Well, I guess you learned your negotiation tax from Hamas because that's all it is. Give me what I want or I do nothing. I don't negotiate. And when you say, oh, of course they negotiated, show me where you negotiated. Show me how you went back to Donald Trump and said, let's do this and that. No, I don't get my $1 trillion of spending I want. We walk out. We filibuster. Fascinating. And now who's getting hurt? And of course, Donald Trump is being accused again because everything, the sky is not as blue as you want it. It's Donald Trump's fault. It's the Republicans' fault. Chuck Schumer is not even listening and hearing the people saying, you're screwing us again, Democrats. Stuart, since, it's fascinating to think that in 2024, the Republican Party pivoted through Donald Trump's campaign to talk to the middle class, the lower class, the working class, call it whatever you want. No tax on tips, no tax, all these tax breaks that he's trying to give to people. He wants to bring back manufacturing jobs here. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not the point. The point is he was targeting or speaking to everyday Americans about how he was going to help their lives. What did the Dems do? Call him Hitler. Worry about transgender. Worry about stuff that people in general don't worry about. The media wants you to worry about it, but everyday human beings are caring about what? Food on the table,
Yep.
gas. And
Yep.
here's the thing, Stuart, right? When you see that in this past week, yesterday, Eli Lilly, it was Pfizer, was at the White House talking about the reduction of the price of pharmaceuticals to an affordable price. America was one of the most expensive places to buy medicine. And now the pharmaceutical companies are coming in one by one to create an environment in which it's going to be affordable for everyday Americans. That's the Republican, that's the Donald Trump method. The Chuck Schumer, AOC, Elizabeth Warren, and our dear friend Bernie Sanders way is ram through ridiculous spending. Because the spending wasn't just on healthcare. It was all these initiatives that Doge killed. DEI initiatives, stupid stuff that Doge found and just stupid money being spent. But he needed back. Those Dems needed back. And Chuck Schumer is now caught. He wants to still be his party's leader in the Senate. But there's this little weasel named AOC who's trying to take his seat, apparently. And if he doesn't satisfy the Jasmine Crockett's of his party, he is likely to lose his power. Amazing that the Democrats are only concerned about their power and not everyday Americans. So as you wake up this morning and or this afternoon, whenever you got out of bed, I don't care, and you open up that liberal media, you of course are hearing that Donald Trump and the Republicans are clearly responsible for the shutdown. It's always the Republicans. But this time, folks, the vote was Chuck Schumer's, court. He could have done something. He chose not to, so he can hold power. So now, ladies and gentlemen, when you speak to that friend of yours who is not getting a paycheck, or a contract was not getting paid, or a service that you need is not happening, just remember, send a thank you card
David, but
to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but you're forgetting, these are the elite class. They're not friends with civil servants. Come on, David.
I didn't forget anything. I didn't forget anything. You may not have been listening to my rant, my friend, but I did not forget.
No, they're not friends with the civil servants. They're not friends with the employees of the country. They're the elite. They're the ones who are whining and dining when all of us are in.
Oh, did you hear where they're going, by the way, for their retreat? Napa Valley. They're doing a Democratic retreat in the Napa Valley. Wine and beautiful dinners, while civil servants are likely to lose their jobs. Is that great or what? Good times.
Ask me if I'm surprised, David. I'm not surprised with their actions. Their
Mm.
actions are constantly those that are hypocritical. And, the Jasmine Crockett's, I got to tell you, I can yell and David, we can yell and scream. I think we should run for Congress. Who cares if you're not American? We can get you to run for Congress. Heck, we can get you a driver's license. We can get you a free house. I hear Chucky's got an extra room. Maybe you want to, settle on it with little Chucky. It is time. It is time to wake up. You wouldn't run your house in this manner and survive. And you know what? None of these people would run their finances the way that they're declaring that we should as a country. And at the end of the day, there is a price to pay for stupidity. And you know what? You're right. The Democratic Party is demagoguing the President of the United States. They're the ones who are, we're going to call them baiting people to go out and do crazy shit. They blame the right for doing this for years and years and years and years. They stop. Listen, there's got to be a level of enough is enough. How many people have to get shot before it really matters?
You're off topic, dude.
We got to cut the budget. We got to cut this.
We got to cut that. No, but it's not about. No, the Democrats don't want you to cut the budget.
They want to cut the country from operating. They want to cut the process of budget.
Yes, absolutely. Let me ask you a question, Stuart. You're a financial advisor, right? Yep. Would you ever advise any one of your clients to invest more money than they currently have?
Well, sometimes, that's called leverage.
Hold on. So you're borrowing, right? You're going to borrow money.
Yep.
To add to that, what am I paying?
Actually, David, it's build, borrow, die. If you really want to know the financial terms,
don't become a university professor. There's only, listen for the question and just answer me, my friend. When you borrow money, what do you pay?
Interest.
Okay, now how much interest is the U.S. government paying because they're spending more money than they have?
Well, the interest rate,
billions and billions and billions of dollars. The interest alone is the size of a medium-sized country's economy, and yet Chuck Schumer believes we should put more in there. The country, first it's blame them for the tariffs. Suddenly there's more money to spend. Oh, you have more money? Let's go spend it. You made it $1? Let's go spend $2. I don't know. Between you and me, Stuart, I think I could put a 14-year-old kid that I know who understands budgeting, who will do a better job than Chuck Schumer, because clearly the word budget, it doesn't exist.
I agree.
It's not a budget. It's a wish list. I want to buy.
No, it's a Christmas list. Take it one step further. It's a Christmas list. I want the whole consumer catalog. David, remember consumer distributing? Distributing. We used to take this catalog and go through it, kind of like the Sears catalog, and look at all these pretty pictures of these games when we were kids, and we wanted it all. Didn't matter. Okay, but did you get it all? No. Was it
Chuck Schumer wants it all, Stuart. He wants it all so he could show his party and everybody, look what I did for you. But all the problem is that he doesn't really care how he gets the money. He doesn't care who he hurts in the process.
It's not that. It's called political survival.
Well, we know that.
Survivor. That's it. That's the only reason. They don't care about anyone else other than themselves. They are narcissists. They're narcissists on a good day.
Stuart, I'm going to wrap it up with this statement about the Dems because it's just a crazy thing. Yep. The Democrats have pivoted, and I said this to you in the green room, and I'm going to change what I said. I was wrong. The Democrats did pivot. They pivoted in the wrong direction. They're talking to, as you said, elitists. They're talking to people who go to universities, who are learning all this socialist nonsense. I don't know if you heard in Philadelphia, they put up a flag of communist China there to celebrate communism. Like, this is what they are going after. Yet you have the GOP who continues to talk about made in USA, America first, and all that stuff, and putting more money on the table. And there's no wonder poll after poll is showing that Donald Trump has got the country in the right mood, despite interest rates, despite inflation, despite, the hopefully I don't know what the jobs are going to be like on Friday, but Donald Trump and the Republicans are clearly talking to everyday Americans. I'm not sure who the Dems are talking to other than themselves in an echo chamber.
Well, drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking the Kool-Aid. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining in. This brings this rant to a close. We truly appreciate you tuning in, sharing your time, and supporting us in this engagement means the world to us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, where this podcast hits the live streams. Please like us, love us, share us. We make probably a half a dozen clips from every single podcast. We throw them out there. They're floating in the World Wide Web. Please laugh. Have fun. We want you to. Guys, for any of those that are Jewish celebrating Yom Kippur, please, I hope it has an easy, meaningful fast. If there's anyone out there that I have personally hurt their feelings or done something wrong,
You heard everybody.
I asked for mechila. I heard everyone. I asked for mechila. And you know what, guys? That means asking for forgiveness. This may not be the correct stage for asking for forgiveness. And you know what? Chucky Schumer, I wish you long life, long health. And I hope you get to see a long list of Republicans in office.